So in my business, we close deals of anywhere from $1,000 up to $50,000 without sales calls, okay? Now, there is some cool stuff that goes into how you craft those offers, how you deliver those offers and present them to people in a sales conversation. Yes, there is some cool stuff that we do when it comes to selling one-to-one in Messenger or via text or chat that allows us to do this. Yes, but here is the big thing, and this is what most people do not realize. The big secret, the big trick, the magic behind it all is what happens before that conversation happens and what happens before they see that offer, okay? If they are not pre-sold on two critically important things, you might make some sales. Yes, that may happen, but they aren't gonna come as thick and fast as you want. They aren't gonna be with the right people, and selling is going to be way freaking harder than if you nail these two things before that conversation happens and before they see that offer, right? When you nail this stuff, you can literally have a 2-3 minute text conversation, send over a PDF and get back the words, I'm in, let's do it, how do I pay you, instantly for 1,000, 10,000, 20,000, 40,000, 30,000, 40,000, 50,000. Got my numbers mixed up in instant, right? Which people think you can't do, but you can if you do these two things right, okay? And I wanna share them with you in this video today. Before we jump into it, if you haven't already, be sure to 1, subscribe to the channel. 2, leave any questions or comments that you've got below. 3, give the video a like if you get value from this. And look, if you're selling coaching or consulting, this is critical, and you wanna do it the way we do it without getting on the phone. But even if you do get on the phone, this is gonna make your life a shitload easier, okay? And if you wanna know more about what we do, click the first link, head to jacobcaris.com. All the good stuff is over there. Okay, so here's the thing. I said the word pre-selling. That is critical, right? Pre-selling, marketing, interchangeable words. My mentor Travis taught me to use the word pre-selling. It's much simpler, okay? It's what happens before the sales conversation, what happens before they see the offer, okay? And in your pre-selling, which for most of my clients is in their content, this could be in your ads, it could even be done through front-end product, okay? It doesn't really matter how you do it. What matters is that you tick off these two big things, okay? The first thing that you have to sell, and these aren't in any particular order, you want to do this, you know, in kind of all at the same time, right? Concurrently, that's the word I was looking for. The first thing you want to pre-sell them on is you, okay? If you just sell them on the other thing that I'm going to talk to you about in a second, they might buy, but as I said, it's not going to be as thick and fast. It's not going to be as easy sales because they're not going to feel connected to you because they don't really know who you are, right? They don't know how to relate to you. They don't know if they resonate with you or not. So that's the first thing you've got to pre-sell them on, okay? And how we do that in our content is 1, by sharing our story, our big story of how we got to where we are today, right? Like Jacob, 32, lives on the Gold Coast. What happened to get to this point? That's the big story, but then also the little stories, right? The little highs, the little lows, the wins, the failures, the travels that I took, the people that I've met, the mentors that I've had, you know, all that kind of stuff. The stories within the bigger story, right? When we share those and when we let people in, they can connect with us. So that's one type of content that pre-sells them on us. The second type is our beliefs, right? And I don't mean going on political or religious rants on social media every single day. I mean, on the topics that are relevant to you and your audience, the market that you're in, what side of the fence do you sit on key things, okay? And sharing your opinion on that and sharing it clearly and sharing it confidently to segregate your audience and attract the people who align with that and repel the people who don't. That's another way that you pre-sell people on you, okay? A third bucket, lifestyle, okay? Now, leave the bullshit cringe at home, leave the rented cars at home. I'm talking about if you're a consultant or you're a coach and you're selling a solution to a problem or an outcome, by letting people into your lifestyle and the way that you live, you're showing them the other side. You're showing them what things can look like on the other side of having that solution or overcoming that problem, right? And it is real world demonstrated proof that, you know, hey, I've been down this path, I've done this thing, and now this is what life looks like, right? If you let people in on that, it's a really, really great real world case study of how your stuff works, and it lets them into your world, which pre-sells them on you even more. Those three are really, 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 really potent ways to pre-sell people on you. One last one, one bonus one here is you could use the word vision. You could use the word, being a leader, right? And really saying, here's where I see things going, or here's where I see the market going, or based on my belief, I see this being a problem going forward, right? And it's really putting a stake in the ground and saying, here's what I think. You could also bucket it as opinion, can go in there as well, right? Which ties into beliefs too. Like it's like who the fuck are you? Let people know that, okay? That's the first thing. Pre-sell them on you. That's the first side of the ledger, all right? The second side of the ledger, the second thing we need to pre-sell them on, and remember I said this doesn't have to be sequential. We want to do this all at the same time through different pieces of content, is what do you do? How do you help people? What problems do you help people overcome? What outcomes do you help people achieve? What processes do you implement in order to do that? What are your methodologies? What are your solutions? What is your plan? How does your plan compare to what they're currently doing? What do you do? That's the second thing they need to be pre-sold on, and they need to see how that's relevant to them, okay? I'm gonna give you some content tips on how to do that in a second. But can you see when you bring these two together, when they're pre-sold on you and they're pre-sold on what you do and how that's relevant to them, right? If they relate to you, and they're like, holy shit, I need that thing to overcome that problem, or I need that thing to achieve that outcome. Can you see how when you then enter into a sales dynamic over text, on the phone, whatever, and when they see an offer, can you see how it's so much easier because they already know all the ins and outs, right? And it's just a matter of does the shoe fit, right? Do I feel like I'm getting the support that I need? Are the deliverables in line with what I want? Is the price even within my budget? All this kind of stuff, okay? Which a more advanced version of pre-selling, you can actually do that as well, but I'm trying to keep this as like simple and foundational. Just keep it down to two things, okay? So here's some content on how you can sell what you do, all right? Very, very first one is demonstrate to them that you actually understand the pains and the problems and the challenges and the outcomes that they're trying to achieve, right? Demonstrate to them that you actually know what they're going through. And in most cases, this is by showing them, hey, well, I went through that problem as well, right? And articulating it with detail that you understand the problem. If you can show them that you understand the problem in exquisite and almost excruciating detail, just by virtue of specificity, you are going to significantly increase your authority with them, because how else would you know that that's what they're going through if you couldn't help them with it? Right? Really, 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 really powerful. Another bucket, demonstrate your authority, demonstrate your credibility, right? What have you done? What have you achieved? Who have you helped? What awards have you won? Who have you worked with? Okay, demonstrate your authority. Create content about your process, right? Your methodology, your plan. Okay, how do you do things, right? We have a few of these that I talk about. One of them that I talk about is help people generate traffic, help people create content, help people have warm conversations with people and close deals, right? With PDFs and Google Docs for $1,000 to $50,000 stuff. That's part of our plan. That's one iteration of it. Okay. The other thing you can do in plan and process and methodology, if you understand your market well, is you know what they're currently doing and you can compare and contrast it. Okay. And you can say, well, here's how we do things. This is what this looks like. If you're currently doing this, might want to come over to this side of the fence for A, B, C, and D reasons. Okay. And other things, proof, testimonials, case studies, all that kind of stuff, right? Demonstrate that your stuff works, right? Share your client results, right? This week I put up a post on my profile that we had a client who did 400 grand with an offer doc that I helped them create. We had a client that put up 70 grand in January. Another client put up 43,000 euros in the French market in January. I just share that on my profile, right? And it chips away at, well, that's what Jacob does and it works and he knows what he's doing, right? So you can pre-sell them on what you do through that stuff. One last bucket. It's just raw value, just like genuinely helping people without any expectation from that immediate piece of content. It will ultimately give you an ROI in time, but without any immediate expectation that if I post this video, if I post this post, I'm gonna make money off it, right? If you detach from that expectation, you'll create more freely, you'll publish more freely, and you won't just be kind of hung up on creating it, okay? And when you say value, most people's brain goes to how to, like how to do this, how to do that, which is one bucket of it, but another massive bucket of quote-unquote value content is shifting people's beliefs, okay? And again, this topic gets thrown around a lot, but all that's doing is like, well, look, if you believe that this is the case, let me make a case for you that that's not true and there's actually an alternate reality that might be beneficial, and therefore it might be beneficial if you broke that old belief and adopted this new belief. You can do the same with assumptions, right? Like a lot of people assume you can't close $1,000 to $50,000 stuff without getting on a sales call, right? My content, I can show them that that's not the case. We do it day in and day out and day in and day out. If I can bust that assumption that's not helping them, if they don't want to be on the phone all day, if they don't want to build a phone team, I can bust that assumption for them and present them with a different reality that may be more beneficial to them because it's closer to what they actually want to do and how they want to spend their time, what they want their calendar to look like every day. Okay. If you pre-sell people on those two things through your content every day, through your ads, even through your front-end products, right, which is getting more advanced, but everything before, like where you want to coach and work with people, your like back-end offer, pre-sell them on those things. And if you do those things, when the conversation comes, either you go to them or they come to you. We do both. We do inbound and outbound. If you've effectively done that, the sale will drop quickly, easily, and without objections. Okay. Now, if you're doing outbound and you're going into their world, that timing can be tricky, and you need to understand that they may not be pre-sold on those two things yet. You can still make your offer, right? And you can still answer questions, and you might be able to accelerate that pre-selling through a bit of intimacy in a one-to-one conversation, but there's every chance that they're not there yet, and you just need to go, hey, no problem, let's circle back when the time is right for you. Then they drop back into your world, they keep watching your videos, keep reading your posts, keep reading your emails, maybe buy a front-end product, they get more and more and more and more and more pre-sold, and then boom, one day they wake up and they go, hey, I'm ready for that thing, I want to work with Jacob, I want his help, I resonate with him, and I want to use his methodologies. And that's when the big sales drop, and that is how you can do it without needing to spend 45 minutes on the phone, twisting arms, convincing people, selling them stuff that they don't need right now, that they don't fully understand, which causes all kinds of chaos and shit on the back end, both in terms of refunds, chargebacks, and you having to work with people that you really don't want to work with because they're not ready to do that thing yet. Okay, so you slow down, pre-sell them methodically, you'll build out a pipeline, and the consistency will come from the depth of the pipeline. All right? I appreciate you hanging out with me today. I hope you have a fantastic one. Check out the links in the description. Head to jacobcaris.com, subscribe, give the video a like, and I'll talk to you soon. Cheers.